Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and today we will be talking about abuse and how it is not the victim's fault. So stay tuned. So as human beings, we often like to categorize and have, boxes for everything. Everything needs a category, everything needs a type, everything needs something to describe what's in the category, and when we are talking about people, we often assign roles to people, so you have the role of mother, sister, cousin, auntie, wife, and so on. As a man, you might have the role of husband, father, uncle, so on and so on. And so oftentimes when people break the descriptors of their category, my dad, he's supposed to love me and care for me and cherish me because he is my dad. We often feel like this is something that we did. This is our fault, that we caused this individual to fall away from the role that he's supposed to play. Or she's supposed to play, or they're supposed to play, and that is how abuse becomes so insidious and can infect how we see ourselves for the rest of our lives. When we think of our past history of abuse, whether it is childhood abuse, relationship abuse, even abuse that we receive from friends, our coworkers, our supervisors at our job, they can also abuse us, We often will jump into this habit of saying, well, what could I have done to do better? What did I do that was my fault? I must be a horrible person. So obviously I deserved all the things that happened to me. Why couldn't my mother or my father love me? I must not have been the greatest child in order for them to hurt me like this. And oftentimes it is never our fault. Even if you do, like, let's say you have a bully at school and you mess with this bully because they've been bullying you. Even if you do something to cause a possible reaction out of the person, it's still not your fault because the other person is an individual that can control their response to whatever upsets them. It is on all of us as individuals to control the responses that we have to things that upset us. And if we are unable to control our responses in a positive way, we will often deal with them in a negative way. When someone is abusive, that means that they take all the things that have hurt them in the past and in the present and things that they worry about hurting them in the future, and instead of taking responsibility for all of that worry and that pain inside of them, they decide to put all of that on somebody else, So sorry for the noise and the shaking. She always decides to come out when I'm making a video. It's so, like, she's been literally hiding somewhere for like 2 hours. I don't know where she was. Soon as I set up the lights and the camera, she wants to come out and play. Let's play with the pen on the floor or run and hit the camera tripod. So anyways, it is on each of us as individuals to deal with our own stuff in a positive way. It's a choice that we make. I like to see mental health, well, it is, as a physical illness. If you feel sick inside, you go to the doctor, right? You don't sit there and be like, well, I'm sick, so I'm just going to stay sick and I'm just going to live this sick life. You say, you know what? I'm going to go to the doctor because I don't feel good and I want to feel better. It's the same with mental illness. If you notice that you have bad relationships with other people, that when you get angry, you lash out or you hurt somebody, if you have urges to hurt somebody in any way, whether it be physically, emotionally, sexually, financially, you often have the comprehension to say, oh, this probably isn't normal, and if you don't have the comprehension, the consequences from society will give you the comprehension to say, well, I keep getting in trouble for this, and I don't know why, and I want to know why I keep getting in trouble for this, so I'm going to seek help. For survivors of abuse, you have to look at the history, if you know the history of the person that harmed you. If it was a parent, what was your parents' history? Did they go through their own history of abuse? Is it a cycle in your family? And now it's been put on you because your parent couldn't work through whatever was going on inside of them. These are the things that we have to consider, because as survivors, the abuse is not your fault. You experience the consequences of someone else's issues, and those consequences hurt you. It's like you walk across the street and a drunk driver hits you. It's not your fault that the person was drunk. It's not your fault that the car hit you, but you did end up in the hospital, or even worse, because the consequences of their actions. And that is how we learn how to separate and individualize ourselves. We learn that we have to take the abuser off of the pedestal that we put them on based off of the role that they had in our lives, whether it was a partner. They're supposed to love us. So obviously them being mad on a regular basis means that we did something and we're not doing something right in a relationship, when in reality, no, most of the time it's them and it's their issues. And them going through things and them taking it out on you. Or if they don't enjoy you, if they don't like you, them deciding that they're still going to take it out on you, rather than saying, you know what, I don't really like this person. I don't really want to be with this person. I'm just gonna ghost them, just disappear. And I love a good ghosting, because that means that I avoided somebody who could have potentially caused me emotional, physical, any kind of harm, because in reality, they didn't really want to be with me. So, ghosting is okay with me. It's fine. But we hold on, even when we're ghosted, we hold on to that. Like, that is not a part of us as an individual. The ghosting is also their issue. Abuse, people's decisions that they make, even though we experience the consequence of them, we were ghosted. We were abused by a partner, It's not our issue. Even though it hurts, even though it takes a long road of healing to get past it, it still is not our issue. When you consider parents, you hear that saying, some people just shouldn't have kids. Well, some people just shouldn't have kids until they've healed themselves and gone through therapy and worked through their traumas and the things that they've experienced in their lives. I recently watched the Gabriel Fernandez documentary, which was so sad, so hurtful, so upsetting. And it was just like, why did you even have kids? Why did you just not use protection or take the pill, do something so that you could prevent yourself from having children and hurting them, But instead, those people took their issues and put it on this child. And when you don't deal with your issues, anything can be a trigger for you. If you're a parent that abuses their child, because you don't know how to deal with conflict, a bad day at work means I'm going to come home and hit my kid because I can't hit my boss. Because that's the only way I know how to deal with my anger is through violence, instead of talking about it. Let's go to HR. Let's log down everything that this person has done to me, day and time, and exactly what they did, build up a log, and then take it to HR. There was a fly bug thing. Let's take it to HR, But no, instead, because the only way I know how to deal with my anger and all the violence I experienced in my home when I was younger taught me this, I'm going to go home and hit my kid. Because if I hit my boss, I'll go to jail because people are here and they can see me, So that is where it's coming from. And it's hard to get rid of those negative feelings. It's hard to get rid of the shame. And that's how it is perpetuated in a cycle. The parent was abused when they were a child. They thought it was their fault. They thought this is how we deal with conflicts and issues and problems and things like that. And then they put it on their child, and then their child feels like it's their fault, and that's how they deal with conflicts and issues and problems. And just because you're abused doesn't mean that you're going to turn into an abuser. A lot of us decide that we're tired of feeling this way and we go get help, because you're not going to be untouched growing up in a house of abuse and pain and torture. It's not going to not touch you, but that doesn't mean that you have to be come out of it becoming an abuser. It could just mean, well, I have major depression, I have anxiety, I have PTSD, but I still care about people and love people, and I don't want to hurt anybody, and I don't want to hurt myself, so I'm going to go get help. And, it's on a spectrum of, mental health and your mental health capacity when you are going through those things. And a lot of these things, are based on survival. Survival. That is one of the main reasons that abusers abuse. So it was a piece of lint. It wasn't a fly. That's interesting. That is the reason that abusers abuse. That is like one of the foundational reasons. We've learned that everything and everyone will hurt us either now or sometime in the future. So we decide that we are going to hurt them before they hurt us. No matter if it's our child, if it's our partner, whoever it is, especially if it's someone that's telling us that they love us, and that they're there for us, when everyone else in our past who has said that they love us has hurt us. So it can cause this shocking feeling inside of somebody who is abusive or who has experienced trauma and has turned their trauma into abuse. And it's almost like a fear of being loved truly, because, you start to feel like that is a good thing. And I've never had good things, and good things are scary. Good things are frightening. I don't know how to control good things. What if it gets taken from me? So let me hurt this person before they hurt me by taking away the good thing that they're trying to offer me. And that is when we go into abusing other people, that push and pull in your relationships, that honeymoon period where sometimes they're really nice to us and then they take it away and they hurt us. Sometimes those honeymoon periods is their capacity to love. Yeah, until they come across a conflict or come across a problem. And multiple different mental health issues can come with somebody that is abusive. You could have depression, and whenever you get sad, that depression turns into anger, and you don't want to be sad, so then you hurt people. You could have anxiety, and because you can't control your anxious feelings or the things that are making you anxious, then you try to control it through anger. So a lot of different diagnoses can come with anger. Anger is a symptom of different mental health issues. Anger is not a thing by itself. You don't just have anger for no reason whatsoever. There's usually a reason behind it. I utilize this sheet with my clients, especially my younger clients, because they get it better. And I'll put it here too, but it's basically what's behind your anger. What is the feeling? Did they embarrass you? And then you felt angry because they made you feel embarrassed? Are you sad? And then you've got angry because they made you sad. And a lot of these thoughts in people's heads that are abusers tend to be, they made me. They did this to me. I'm the victim. It's a lot of victim mentality. A lot of people that are abusive also want to maintain this relationship with the person that they abuse. They feel like this person is an object to them at this point. This is the punching bag that I hit when I get sad. This is the thing that I touch when I can't control my emotions. This is a thing now. This isn't a person, but it's still mine. It's my thing. It's like having the car in the garage, as long as my car is in the garage. I have a lot of clients that are all like, well, a lot of times, they'll be in romantic relationships, or they'll be talking about their childhood, and they'll be like, a lot of times my abuser liked to be by themselves. They didn't like me coming over and talking to them and, being around them and so on and so forth. Well, it's like my car is outside parked. As long as I know my car is outside parked, I'm pretty happy. No one stole it. I don't have any issues with it. It's outside. So I don't need my car right next to me, just as long as I know where it's at and what it's doing. And that's how abusers view their victims. As long as I know where it's at and what it's doing, then I'm fine. So I can have my time to myself. I can go hang out with my friends and abandon you here because I know that you're going to stay here, because that's how I manipulated you and set this up. you it's rare that abuse, long-term abuse, comes without emotional abuse. Whether you have physical abuse or you have, sexual abuse, financial abuse, there's some manipulation of the mind and of the emotions. So recognize, that emotional abuse by itself is a thing, but usually it's also a part of other types of abuse, because I need to manipulate your mind to make you want to stay after I've just punched you in the face. I need to tell this child that, and make sure this child knows that they're trash so that they don't tell the teacher that I'm hitting them, And so every type of abuse comes with at least a slight modicum of emotional abuse. So as a survivor of abuse, I'm talking about myself and I'm talking for others out there. It is good to remind yourself that it was never your fault. No matter who abused you, who hurt you, who touched you, who hit you, who manipulated you into thinking that there was something wrong with you and you deserve this. It was never your fault. At the end of the day, regardless if you do something to someone or not, individuals make a decision on how they want to respond to something that upsets them. You have to think of it this way. I like to use this example with all my clients because it's extreme, and I like extreme examples because they stick usually. Think of school shooters. So I was bullied in school when I was younger. And my first thought wasn't to go and shoot up the school. And I'm using the bully analogy because that's what a lot of the school shooters say happened to them and why it doesn't always have to be bullying, but this is what they say sometimes. So I was bullied in school, and my thing was I wouldn't tell my mom. I told the school, I stayed away from the I was being proactive in trying to make the best school, environment for myself. Because I knew I couldn't change the bullies. So I didn't try to confront the bullies or bother the bullies. I was just like, you know what? Let me go tell the principal. Let me go tell my mom. Let me go tell the teacher, because I want them to leave me alone more than I care about being seen as a snitch or whatever name they were calling me. Versus someone who does go and shoot up a school or bully a bunch of kids, or, if it's something that can't be helped, the reaction to conflict would be the same across the board. Every time something bad happened, everybody would be socking people in the face. So you have to think of it that way. So obviously it's a choice. So if it's a choice, they have to choose to do better and respond better. Even if that means leaving the situation and never coming back again. They have to choose to respond better to situations that upset them. And if they can't, then it's never the person's fault if you choose to hurt them. If you choose to hurt them or you choose to get revenge or whatever, it's like they are holding in all of these negative feelings and they're saying, blah, on everybody else. I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm going to get revenge, or I'm going to beat somebody up that I see as a punching bag to get rid of all these negative energies that I have in me for the moment until it happens again, because negative things happen all the time. And if we don't learn how to deal with them, then eventually it's just going to happen again and again and again until eventually something really big happens, it piles up and you go to jail or get killed, or who knows what will happen if you keep beating people and hurting people and abusing people. So once again, for survivors, whether it's a mantra, whether it's meditation, whatever you need to do to get to the space where you can say, this is not my fault. This happened to me, but I didn't make this happen. Nothing I did made this happen, no matter what. And then that is the first step in moving past it, recognizing that you didn't cause it. Nothing you did caused it. And yeah, that's it for today. I think this is kind of short, and I hope it was helpful to people that are going through situations. I don't want to be talking to people that are going through situations, but being realistic, people are going through situations where they are currently being abused, and this is currently happening. So I hope this reaches those people and it gives them one more step towards getting away, in a safe manner, as safe as possible. This isn't one of those, I'm not one of those, oh, you need to leave. No, in a safe way. And then getting the help that they need, getting the help that we all need. Therapy, mantras, like I said, positive affirmations, reminding yourself it was not my fault. It was not my fault. For a long time, I even said that to myself. It was not my fault. I did nothing wrong. And it helps. It helps to block out those negative words, those negative voices, those negative feelings. It takes practice, but it works. So yeah, later days.